So today, I want to talk to you about 5 reasons to beware of dating women that don't have female friends or that don't have long-term female friends in particular, all right? And I want to talk about this because I got an interesting comment under my video, 5 ways to pass her pull-away test. There was a guy that left a comment under that, and it says, if she has a lot of female friends, you know, the type of girls that want to go out with the girls all the time, run. Women love to sabotage each other's relationships. They sit around and bash on men. Girl, you don't need no man, or you should go down on Bobby. He's hot. Run. So first off, I want to say there's a very toxic narrative that's going on within like the RP community, the manosphere at large, and they have a lot of these tropes whereby guys start to really believe that all women are the most negative thing ever, whether it's like, they're trying to sabotage each other and they really, hate men or they want to just spend all their money, yada, yada, yada. I personally hate that narrative because in my dating experience, the majority of women that I have personally either dated or been in relationships with have not been that way. Even if there were relationships that didn't work out, it wasn't because they were doing these particular things. So I just want to dispel that for you guys because there are a lot of great women out there. And to that end, there are great women that also have great women friends who are encouraging to them, who are down to be down for their female friend when they're going through stuff, who are wanting to be there for their friend when they need to talk about their relationship and troubles they're having. And they can actually be your saving grace if a woman's mad at you, for example, and she's all up in whatever, she can go to her female friend, they can have a discussion about it. She can realize, oh, I'm tripping, and then get back to you and be fine. So there's definitely benefits for a woman to have female friends. Now that's not to say that women can't have toxic female friends in their group, but that's also true of men. There are plenty of men that had that one dude that's gonna try to get them to do stuff that's gonna make them step out of their relationship or question whether they should be in one or not. And that can happen in both sexes, okay? So to say that, all women are like, if they have friends, blah, blah, that's not true. But I do want to talk about the dangers of women actually not having female friends, because I have dated women that either had a low number of female friends, had no female friends, or they maybe had they had female friends that were more recent, but they haven't had friends for a long term. Now, I'm a guy, right? And even, me being a guy, I've managed to have friendships that go as far back as me being 5 years old, and I'm 40. So my longest friendship is with a female family member or my brother's god sister. Anyway, I've known her since practically birth, but I didn't know that at the time. But in terms of my conscious knowing, I've had a female friend that I've known since I was 5 years old. She's now married with 2 kids. And I have a male friend of mine who I've known since I was 7. So that means that on some level, I'm able to keep relationships long-term. I have friends from college that I've known for like 20, 25 years almost, okay? It's insane. And so I say this because there are certain skills a person must have in order to maintain a relationship, whether it's a friendship relationship or a romantic relationship. And so a woman that is lacking in female friends, I'm gonna give you 5 reasons why that is something that when you hear it, you need to be very cautious about it and about the woman that you're potentially trying to date, all right? So here we go. The first reason to beware of dating women with no female friends is that women with few women friends tend to have a more masculine energy. And so a lot of times women with like high masculine energy, they'll get annoyed by some of the things that, females with more female energy do, and they'll steer towards guys. The problem is that being around all that male energy, it doesn't allow them to facilitate or to better develop their female communication style. And that's gonna be something that's very, very important when you're trying to get into a relationship with them, especially in the part where it's like, if you're a masculine guy that is trying to go after a woman that's going to be in her femininity and act feminine, then that highly masculine energied woman is going to eventually turn you off. for a numerous amount of reasons, whether it's just like the way she acts towards you or that she has more of a guy energy. And if you're a guy that's attracted to women, then her having that guy energy or like getting their, very, very short haircuts where she looks almost like a guy, that's going to inevitably turn you off. And that's not a good look. So that's the first one, okay? The second reason to beware of dating women with no female friends is that they often have behaviors that make other women drop them as friends. All right, let me say that again. They often have behaviors that make other women drop them as friends. And these are things like being a gossip or talking behind other women's backs or a woman that gets easily offended by something, a woman that's able to hold grudges for long periods of time, a woman that's possibly two-faced and like acts one way in front of her friends, but then is like doing other things behind their back. Like, these are not behaviors that are becoming of a woman that should qualify to date you, okay? And so you gotta consider this, is that women as a whole, their whole thing is about being able to be in community with each other, whereas men typically try to stand out and do individualism as a means of trying to, look better than other men or try to show their status. Women are typically trying to, not that they're trying to be the same, but they're trying to show that on some level, like just because a woman's a CEO and a woman over here is like, an at-home wife or girlfriend or whatever, that the importance that they bring to the group is the same. And so in order to facilitate a community of sameness and that we're all in this together, they're typically trying to be in ways that aren't going to be too upsetting to other women so that way they can get along with each other, so that way they can share amongst each other and be able to support each other as a group, all right? And these are qualities, by the way, that you want your woman to be able to bring over into a relationship with you, because as a man, it's not that you can't do those things, but it's just that women bring a different energy to the circle when they're cooperative, when they're able to, know how to delegate, when they're able to see things from different perspectives, when they're able to, emote or to, I can't think of the word right now, where basically they're able to feel what you're feeling, And so women best facilitate that when in their early years, when they're around other women and learning how to get along with them. Just like we bring our skills of strength and of knowledge and of logic, they bring their skills of togetherness and negotiation and knowing how to make sure everybody ultimately is going to leave the table happy. So for a woman to be kicked out of that circle by other women indicates that those women are saying, this woman over here doesn't really know how to do that stuff and doesn't have that skill. You need to run, because that's going to be a woman that's going to try to fight and argue with you all the time. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to touch on that a little bit later. The third reason to beware of dating women with no female friends is that she has no other emotional outlet to go to when things are upsetting her, which means she's going to come to you and she's going to let it all out on you without having a chance to process it. Now, you might think that's a good thing. Hey, why wouldn't you want your woman to come to you when there's a problem in her life, or when something's bugging her, or when you've done something that is upsetting to her? Like, why wouldn't you just want to have that between the two of you? And I used to think, hey, I don't want the woman I'm dating to talk to somebody else. I want it to keep it between us. And there are certain things that are private that you guys should really facilitate amongst yourselves. But there are going to be times when, just because of the differences in men and women, you might say or do something that is unintentionally causing her to have hurt feelings. And if she doesn't have somebody else to go to before you, what can happen is, let's say it's like the third time she told you to take out the trash, you said you were going to do it, you didn't get to it, now she's all pissed off, right? So she can come to you and start yelling, or she can go to her female friend and talk about how, man, just like I tried to ask him for the third time, this is that. You know what's going to happen in that conversation? Her female friend, who we're going to assume this is a level-headed woman that is smart and that it has a nice personality, who probably as a result of that also has nice friends who also are in good relationships, rather than say, you need to drop him, he's not taking out the trash, I wouldn't step that. Most women that have really good friends, their good friends going to be like, okay, so let's figure out a plan and a way for you to be able to talk to this guy about this without demasculating him, without hurting his feelings, and without nagging him, but at the same time still trying to get the point across that this is important to you. And they'll have a whole 2-hour, 3-hour conversation about how she needs to approach you in a more effective way So that way, when she gets to you, you're thinking, oh, this is the first time I've heard about this. And she seems so calm and she's giving me some rational thoughts and things. And I think if you could think about, but she had a 2 or 3 hour conversation with her girlfriend before she came to you. And this is why it's important, because if she doesn't have that outlet, what you're going to get is her first thoughts. And a lot of times a woman's first thoughts about she feels like you've wronged her in some way are hyper emotional. She's creating a narrative in her head about why it is you're purposely trying to do this thing. And she's not being given the chance to get those thoughts out on another person to be able to go through them enough to realize either she's tripping or she's not tripping, but it's not at as high of a level as she thinks it is before she comes over to you. Women that don't have female friends don't have that, which means you're gonna more often than not deal with a woman who's going to be hyper emotional and yelling at you and accusing you of things that you are not even trying to do because she doesn't have that outlet to get it out on somebody first, all right? That's number 3. The 4th reason to beware of dating women with no female friends is because you're going to have to deal with her male orbiters. Now, I want to be fair to women on this one. A lot of women that have mostly male friends aren't trying to screw those guys. A lot of women see those men as like they see a girlfriend, like the woman in her head's thinking, he knows what it is. He knows I'm not trying to get with him. Even if I know he had a crush on me, I deaded that. I told him I just want to be friends. He agreed to that. And now we're just friends and he doesn't see me like that at all. Now, as a guy, you know that's not true. You know that these male orbiters are just waiting for her to come to them with a complaint about you and your relationship and what you did something wrong. So that way they have the chance to finally to try to convince her, A, that you shouldn't be in the picture, and B, that maybe she should try somebody different, like him. We know this is how the game goes, but women don't. But the point is, as long as the woman is not aware of that, she's gonna have no problem trying to introduce you to Mike and Billy and Bob and all these guys, and you're gonna see all these guys, and then when you guys go hang out occasionally and she wants to bring her friends along with her, they're gonna be these guy friends that are coming too. And by the way, I say this is a guy that at one point in time had a lot of female friends that eventually got with like other men and like left me in the dust, which meant that they had an understanding that I could no longer be around as frequently because the guy that they chose is the guy in their life, and they know that that guy's not going to be cool with me coming around. But as a guy, I respect that. I understand how that goes, okay? But you might date a woman that doesn't understand that. And now, when she says, hey, I'm going to go hang with Bob tonight, and you're like, I don't want you to do that, it's going to cause a fight because she's not going to understand why it is you have a problem with her hanging with Bob. She doesn't see Bob as a sexual thing. She can't see it a scenario where Bob would want to like suddenly just lunge and kiss her or want to try to like talk her away from you. Like, in her head, that's not even a thing, but you know it's a thing. So you gotta ask yourself the question, do you wanna have those fights? Do you wanna set yourself up to potentially have to try to explain to your woman time and time again why it is you feel awkward with her going to hang out with 3 of her guy friends tonight? You probably don't, but that's the danger that happens when you're dating women that don't have female friends that they can just go hang out with, you know? And I know there's this narrative, especially in the RP community, about like, you shouldn't let women go out and have women's nights and blah, 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 blah. Well, the alternative, Mr. Introvert, is that she's gonna be hanging out with you all the time. Do you never wanna get your alone time? You probably want your alone time at some point. So if you have your alone time and you're dating a woman that's like, hey, I wanna hang out with you, and you're like, hey, I need my alone time tonight, babe, where is she supposed to go? You want her to go hang out with like her male orbiters? Or do you want to have a couple of girlfriends she can go to their house and hang out and drink some drinks and have a good time and laugh or whatever? Now, if you can have conversations about what those would entail, whether it's like, hey, if they want to go to the club, it's a no. If they want to hang out at the house, it's a yes. And I'm not saying that you need to be that controlling of where she's going to be, what she's going to be doing when she's hanging out with her female friends. I'm saying that's at your discretion to determine what version of that annoys you or not. But to say she can have any female friends, major mistake. I'm telling you. Of the two, you're going to want her to have female friends she can hang out with versus male orbiters, because one of those two things is going to happen. And then the 5th reason to beware of dating women with no female friends is that, as I kind of touched on earlier, they often lack good communication and fight resolution skills. You got to understand, in order for women to keep a long-term friendship with other women, because women can feel when another woman is like being kind of awkward or has something to say to them, or there's like a fight brewing. Like they get tap into that instinctual feeling of like, oh, this woman's upset, or what's going on? Does they have a problem with me? And so women, in order to keep their friendships long-term, have to learn how to, break down and talk about things and cry and be able to hear the other person. I can't think of the word tonight. Jesus Christ. I'm trying to think of like, it's not emulate. It's like, I can't think of the word. Anyway, the point is, so they have to be able to feel what the other person's feeling. They have to be able to have all these other various skills. And again, a woman that's had lifelong female friendships, and by lifetime, I mean like if a woman should be able to have a female friendship or two that is at least 10 years or more. That's enough time to have gone through some ups and downs with a person and they're still in your life, which means that when those ups and downs came, they were able to actually like talk to the other person and figure it out. You know, maybe they needed to go to their corners for a bit, but they were able to find ways to get along. And again, I stress, guys, you want a woman like that because there's going to be times when you're going to, as a man, you're going to say stuff that sometimes has no emotional connotation to you that's going to hurt her feelings. And you're going to want a woman that can come to you and say, hey, I want to talk, like this thing that you said, maybe that I don't think you meant to hurt my feelings, but this is how I took it. And you want a woman that's able to have conversations like that. Versus the woman that's going to be like, well, you hurt me and you said this thing and I'm going to hold this grudge, blah, 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 blah. And the best way for women to facilitate that is to be able to practice that with other women, all right? But when they have no female friends, they're going to be around mostly dudes. And how do dudes fight? Dudes are laughing and joking and oftentimes being very sarcastic, or it can lead to like the other realm where it's like it's knockout, drag out fights and mother F you this and blah, 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 blah. Do you really want your woman to fight you the way a man would fight you? Probably not, because then on no side is there going to be peace. You're going to be trying to bring the strong arm. She's going to try to bring the strong arm. You're going to be yelling like you see all over these reality TV shows, and it's going to be like a complete disaster, all right? So these, again, just to reiterate, these are the 5 reasons to beware of dating women with no female friends. Number 1, women with few female friends tend to have more masculine energy. Number 2, even the ones that don't have the masculine energy, they often have behaviors that make other women drop them as friends, which is a huge red flag. Number 3, she'll have no other emotional outlet to go to and will let it all out on you without having a chance to fully process her emotions about the situation. Number 4, you're going to have to deal with her male orbiters. And number 5 is they often lack good communication and fight resolution skills. So guys, I get it, especially if you're an introvert watching this, you may think that if a woman has more than 5 or 10 friends, that it's overkill. And she may be an extrovert, maybe not. But a woman needs to have at least 2, maybe 3 good, solid female relationships because you're gonna want them to be a place that she can go to in her life, whether it's just to have a good time, to reconnect with her femininity, or just when things are going haywire with you guys, a sounding board she can go to be able to really see if she's tripping or how this can be better resolved, okay? Women that don't have female friends, I have found in my dating life that the women that either say things like, oh, I don't have a lot of female friends, or oh, just, I used to have friends and they just seem to go away, or I don't keep long-term friendships, that's not a really good sign for women that you're wanting to keep a long-term romantic relationship with you. So it's just something to consider, all right? But hopefully this, guys, helps you out. For more of these shows, you can go to introvertdatingsuccess.com. You can also go to basically any streaming place and listen to this podcast as well. But be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel at youtube.com/HarryWilmington. If you want to show a monetary thank you, you can click on one of the links below or go to the website, click on the tip jar tab, leave a monetary thank you that way. Also, guys, I'm getting to more and more of you guys' comments and questions, but if you want me to answer them a lot faster, I highly recommend signing up for a one-on-one phone consultation, which you can do at introvertdatingsuccess.com. Empathize. The word was empathize. If a woman can't empathize with you, that's a bad sign. Oh, that was going to bug me forever. I'm Harry Wilmington, and I'll catch you guys on the next episode. I'm out. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Introvert Dating Success Podcast. Visit us at introvertdatingsuccess.com for more great tips on attracting women using your natural introvert charm. Oh, yeah.